What we're going to talk about today is starting off with a Basset Hound. Is that the right breed for you? You know, it is a wonderful dog. I always know it as a lazy dog, and we're going to learn a little bit more about what are the characteristics of a Basset Hound. Then we're going to go into maintenance of a dog, and we'll learn a little bit about maintenance on a Basset, but can have other things that will help you with your dog as well. I think there's going to be some tips in there that you're going to enjoy as well. And then we're going to talk about the dog food called Acana. Is this the right dog food for you? This stuff is loaded with meat. It's another one of those really high quality foods. So we're going to cover all that today on the PAWSitively Petland radio show. So starting off with the Meet the Basset Hound, as far as what it's all about, here, a little bit of history of the Basset Hound. The word Basset is, and then here, if we had Jay in the studio right now, he kind of left me for a second here. We're going to stump him with this, and maybe we can hit him on another day. But what do you think Basset? What language do you think it's from, and then what do you think it refers to? I'll give you a moment there. Doop, 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 doop. The word Basset is taken to mean low set, so we can all understand that one. And it is French, and it is the size classification within certain French and Belgian breeds. So that's where the word Basset comes from. The modern Basset Hound is, however, mostly British and American. And you'll actually, if you go further and into it, you're going to see a lot of that British, French, American, Russian, which is, I think, kind of funny that that's even in there. So it goes across that, across the world as far as where the origins come from. A little bit more about them. Let's see here. Although the standards differ slightly between countries, the basic ideal for the Basset Hound remains the same. First, a hunting hound who can perform in the field. We'll learn a little bit about why their bodies are the way they are on the hunting side of things. And second, a great companion who is sometimes a comical family dog that people love and trust around their children. Definitely we can see that one within our homes and all that kind of stuff. And the Basset Hounds that I've hung around with and all that definitely hit that one right on the head. The Basset Hound was bred for the purpose of hunting small game slowly, which is kind of funny for a Basset, on foot over and through difficult terrain. The notable physical characteristics that aid the accomplishment of this function are the very heavy bone of their short, powerful legs. I didn't really even notice how powerful they are. I'll have to check that one out next time I'm around one. Their loose, pliant skin, which a lot of people have theorized that loose skin, or their skin is not attached like ours is for a reason of getting away from things and all that kind of stuff, so that they don't get hurt, which protects against injury. And their very long ears, which aid in trapping the scent. If you can just visualize the theory of why they bred the breed to have such long ears is for hunting. And if when they're walking, those ears are wafting up the smells so they can smell that really low lying scent that's towards the ground. It just was listening to a veterinarian, and this is, I think, way in his past, but he wanted to act like a badger, and they interviewed the guy, and it was really interesting to hear when he acted like a badger. And I know that sounds funny. I thought it was funny, but it was just interesting, the observations that him and his son had when his son was younger. They blindfolded themselves because badgers don't see very well, and then put their nose to the ground. And he really quickly started understanding the smells that are right along the ground. Could tell whether he was coming up to an oak tree or a different tree, could actually tell the difference between different oak trees, and then all sorts of other smells. And so what the ears are doing on a Basset are getting into that really low-lying area where those scents kind of hang out, and then wafting them up so they can get to them. So that's the theory on that. Standing about 14 inches tall at the withers and measuring approximately 28 inches in length from sternum to rump. Mature dogs and bitches will weigh in around 60 pounds. So for a low-lying dog, 60 pounds, that's a lot of weight in a dog. The forequarters wrap the chest and support approximately 2/3 of the dog's weight. So 2/3 of it is all on that those front legs. Mild tempered, they are equally at home in the field or in the house. So that's just going through, kind of what they were designed for, what they're all about. Living with a Basset, what is that like? The decision that you want a Basset Hound of your own should not be made lightly. After all, you can reasonably expect a puppy to quickly grow into an adult and be with you for the next 10 to 12 years. So I think that would be true for any dog. You want to make sure, is this the right breed for you? A little statistic in our store at Petland over in Iowa City is that 70% of the people that walk in going, I want, and they're like very adamant on what breed they want, which is fine. If that's what you want, let's figure that out. But it's interesting, 70% of them walk out with something different or slightly different because they find that they didn't know this or that about the breed, or their desire is to do something like running or not running, and finding out that breed really enjoys a nice sturdy run every day, and hey, I'm not that active, I really don't want that kind of commitment, or I really want that commitment, but a little Yorkie isn't going to do that. So it's interesting how that happens. Going on with the Basset, after all, you can reasonably expect a puppy to quickly grow into an adult. So that's, the puppy is a short-term thing and be with you for that next 12 years. The Basset doesn't require a great deal of special care. They're pretty much a wash or wear type hound. A nail trim on a regular basis. We do $5, by the way, we do $5 nail trims at the store at Petland at Sycamore Mall. Just bring in your distemper and rabies shot and we'll do that for you. So even at that, okay, that makes it a little easier. Along with a good cleaning of the ear folds and a bath every so often will keep this happy and pleasant little doggy to be around. I will say that a Basset is in the hound family. For some people, you're going to want to wash that dog a little more frequently, on a weekly basis. I know I have a little dachshund, which is in the hound family, and she gets a little stinky after about 5 days. She gets that little doggy smell. So it's not, huge, but, we just keep her nice and clean. And as a result, she is nicely smelling, even for a hound. We actually use some colognes and all that. We'll get into that aspect during their next portion of maintenance for a dog. So let's see here, finishing up a diet of a good quality dog food, and we've talked a lot about good quality dog foods on this show. A mild exercise schedule, and I will emphasize mild is all that's going to be needed for a Basset, and an annual vet checkup for required vaccinations should round out their maintenance schedule. So that's the Basset Hound, and we always just like to say, is the Basset the right breed for you? Some other things that they didn't know, this is all from the AKC book on Basset Hounds from that club. And it's a shedding dog. It is 60 pounds on average, and so that is going to be, you're going to notice that hair around the house. The nice thing, though, it's short hair, so you're not looking at this long hair wafting around. You will notice it less as a result because it is a shorter haired dog. The Furminator is going to be another thing that you're going to want to have for this, and we'll talk again a little bit about that during our maintenance topic. But it'll take away a lot of that shedding aspect. I use it in my household for our cat, and it is a miracle worker as far as minimizing the amount of shedding that our cat does, and in this case the Basset Hound. And then the shampooing and probably introducing a cologne or two into the scheme between baths is going to keep this big little Basset Hound under control for most people. So that's the Basset Hound. Is it the right breed for you, kind of a thing. So lovely little thing there. Going on, so I wanted to talk in our next section about just a group of maintenance aspects with our dogs, and then you can apply a lot of this with our cats as well. There are some tricks of the trade that I have found over the years to help with maintaining your dog, whether it's a shedding issue, a stinky issue, just an overall good cleanliness issue. First we're going to talk about what shampoos, colognes, conditioners. Then we're going to get into some brushing. And then finally, I think we've got enough time to hit some, if I wanted to tackle that nail clipping, what is my best strategy on that? I'm a little, you might be one of those that are hesitant on that. For the shampoo, you do want to get a dog or a pet appropriate shampoo because they are adjusting the pH values of those shampoos according to pets. What we use for our own bodies, we tend to use things that take those oils away much more liberally, where you don't want that much oil removed from the dogs. The shampoos, in fact, that are out there for dogs and cats are now formulated so you can use them on a frequent basis. A lot of people ask, how often do I shampoo my dog? And that's, whatever's appropriate for you and your dog. But you can literally, I've done it twice a week in many cases because the dog got into something. And you can be okay with that. You're not going to create a dry skin area, but we'll even hit that area further if you are concerned about it. So shampoos are not all created equal. I've noticed, Wendy and I, when we go to the trade shows and we look at shampoos, that there are concentrated shampoos and then there are the diluted shampoos. Guess what the price does? When you get the diluted shampoos, they tend to be lower in cost, but you got to use a lot more to get the same job done. And then obviously the concentrated are a lot less, but yeah, you're going to see a little higher price. So don't be afraid when you see that higher price on those. What I have found is they tend to work a lot better, make my job a lot easier, and I really didn't spend any more because I used a lot less of the shampoo. So realize that in a lot of ways today in America, they try to cheapen things up by diluting it. Don't be afraid of spending a little bit more money because you probably will save money in the end. One of the neatest shampoos that I have found is this by BioGroom. It has got argan oil in it, and I might be saying argan or argan a little bit wrong there, but for those ladies that are out there, you know what I'm talking about. It's something that has been around for now a few years for the ladies, and now they've brought it into the dogs as well. And it's something that the same benefit you see with the ladies and their hair, you're going to see with the dogs as well. And basically, it's if you have a dog that has mild conditioning needs, this shampoo probably is the shampoo for you, because when you're done, holy cow, the coat is shiny, the coat is silky, really nice to touch. It just puts a little layer of something, and that must be the argan oil, onto the dog or cat. And it just is a wonderful addition in the shampoo. So I use that on a regular basis for both my dogs and cats. And then BioGroom has, they all have their own little scents, and I just really like the smell. So that would be the other thing to know is do you like the smell? Don't hesitate to take that top off of that bottle when you're in the store. Give it a whiff and see what you like on that. I have found the BioGroom products are really good as far as the smell stays on them. Another brand that I really like is Bobby Panner. She does a really nice job of formulating them. It's a lady that was in show business a while ago on some sitcoms, and she's gone into the shampoo, conditioner, cologne lines, and has done a really, really nice job. And so the Bobby Panter line is a really nice line that you would want to check out. So that's the shampoos. My tip on shampoos, other than those different brands that I really like, are wash your dog a couple of times. Lather them up and then rinse them down. Especially with our hounds, my little dachshund Callie, she has to be shampooed and rinsed at least twice in order for it to really stick. If I don't do that, it seems like within a half a day or a day, she's smelling like a dog again. And so I use that approach to give her, get a little bit more of that scent, and I'm sure I'm doing a little bit more cleaning on her as a result as well. On Susie, she's a non-shedding dog. She's a Maltese poodle. What I have found is one shampoo and rinse usually does the job. If she got into something, I might do it a couple of times at that point. So you use that tip to help you out. Wash and rinse at least twice. if you have allergies, there's no scientific approach on this one. I just had a customer that had that issue on a small dog, shedding dog, and she was loving it, but she was having allergy issues. And I said, well, here's an approach you can take because you're allergic to things that are coming off the dog. Wash and rinse that dog 5 times. And ever since she had that experience, she called the next day and said, oh my gosh, I'm not allergic to my dog anymore. Now that is an approach I take for those with allergies. If you're noticing your symptoms coming back or you have symptoms, try washing and rinsing 5 times. Really get things off that cat or dog, and you'll have a much easier time. Our daughter with our cat has a mild allergy. And so we just have to, most people don't wash their cats. We just have to wash Gilbert once a month, and it keeps her under control. Here's another tip. If you can't get that cat in a sink, and a wash sink or anything like that, it is so easy to wash your cat in the shower. It is just a lot less stressful on everybody. My cat, he was okay with the basin for a while, and so we would put her in the slop sink and wash him down and all that kind of stuff. But I just found as he got older, he got crankier and crankier about the whole thing. I then started doing it in the shower, and I'm telling you, it was so much easier bathing our cat in the shower than it was in the sink. And if you've got that dog that just doesn't like it in the sink or is too big, use the shower and you'll find that it's a lot easier, a lot less stressful. Do they love it? Probably not, but it's a lot easier. So shampooing. Conditioners are not all equal. I use conditioners for 2 purposes. If you have a non-shedding dog, so the hair gets longer, then obviously you're going to need a conditioner in that hair, just like people with longer hair need conditioners. It prevents the tangles and all that kind of stuff, and it just keeps the hair looking good and feeling good. The second thing is do you have a dog with dry skin and you're battling it? Your first approach there is nutrition. Get that nutrition into a high quality food so that it's producing high quality hair. We all know that if we are eating right, if we're using vitamins and all that kind of stuff, our hair is better. The same thing is with dogs. So that's the number one thing. But you can now supplement it with a conditioner whenever you're bathing your dog or cat with a hair conditioner, and you'll find the dry skin will be lessened, if not eliminated. And you'll also like the feel of that coat because conditioners just do that kind of a thing for them as well. So conditioners are really good for that. I've noticed that not all conditioners are the same. It's just like the shampoo. Some are really diluted and you have to use a lot of it. Others are really concentrated, and it's almost like if you use too much, you've gone too far. Again, BioGroom and Bobby Panner do a really, really nice job on their conditioners. Very concentrated products. I love the smells that they have available, and the quality of the conditioner is really high so that you use a little bit and it does a wonderful thing. So for conditioners, just like for people, you leave them sit in there. If you'll go longer, if you leave the conditioner in the hair a longer time, it's going to do more. If you only want a slight conditioning, then rinse it out fairly quickly. So usually no less than 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And then on the extreme situations where I'm trying to really get the smell in there, or I really want the coat to be conditioned, I'll let them go for about 5 minutes. That would be on the extreme side of things. So conditioners you can use that way. In our house, we also use colognes. And if you haven't tried this, it just lengthens the time between baths. What we notice with our dogs, especially in the summertime, is we can give them a bath, and the next day when they come in from the outside, they have this strange outside smell. And we've even watched them. What are you doing out here? And all they're doing is running around. They don't even do the roll thing. And they just come in and they smell like the outside. And normally I would say, oh, the outside smells really good. But for whatever reason, and I think you know what I'm talking about if you've smelled it, it's just irritating. And you go, holy cow, there's an odor about you. The cologne is a great way of eliminating that smell and then supplementing it with a really nice smell. And some colognes have conditioners in them and all that kind of stuff, so you can actually help with the dry skin as well. So when I have it right at the door as they're coming in from, you know, the potty break kind of a thing, and as I'm checking them out, wiping them down and all that kind of thing, if they have that smell, I give them a spritz of the cologne, and that freshens them up. So cologne is a really nice thing to have. Combs and brushes and shed reducing combs that are out there. Know that there is a variety of combs. So you've got the soft bristles. So that's just the, hey, you know, kind of comb down the dog. If it's got some stuff on it, it'll brush it off and all that kind of stuff. We also have a combo comb, and on the other side of it, or you can get these by themselves, it has kind of a very hard bristle, usually with a blunt end though, so that it's not sharp. Those are really nice for detangling the dog in general, and having that around is a really nice, you know, daily brush of those non-shedding breeds that the hair gets a little longer. You got it just like our own hair. If you don't comb it on a daily basis or more, they get matted and tangled and all that kind of stuff. So that's a nice way of keeping them maintained. Then they get into what's called a slicker brush. If you have ever seen, there's a lot of wiry, thin little bristles. Those are great for a little bit of or the shedding dog getting the shed out. Even for non-shedding dogs, we all know that they do shed. It gets those loose hairs out. I also like, if you haven't seen them yet, there's a button on the back that will push forward against the bristles, and all the loose hair comes out of the brush, so you're not struggling with trying to get it out of there. And you just do it over a waste can, and it works really good. So a slicker is another kind of brush that is really, really nice. Again, it's going to get the tangles out. It's going to be wonderful on getting some of that loose hair out, and it's just an overall general nice brush. And then we've talked a lot on the show, probably about every week, the Furminator. If you have not tried this for your shedding dog or shedding cat, you got to get it. I just had a customer this week come back through the line. She's had her Furminator for probably about a month or two, and we were talking about things that we've suggested in the store, and she's like, I just appreciate what you guys do here, just educating us on our dogs, helping us with our minor issues and sometimes significant issues. She said, but that Furminator was phenomenal. She goes, that was a miracle worker. And it's the same thing I've found over the years with our cat. You know, it just gets irritating that our cat is shedding all over the house. How can you reduce that significantly is get that Furminator. If you've never done this and you've had the cat for a couple of years or the dog for a couple of years, you're probably gonna do it over about a 4-week period, about every week or every other week. You're gonna take about 20 minutes, depending on the size of the dog. You know, could be 10-15 minutes for a really small dog, but it might be 20-30 minutes for a really big dog. You're going to use this Furminator to get that dog down to where all the loose fur, what I think their claim is 92% of it, is gone. Once you get through that period, now it's going to be a quick 5 minutes once a week, and you'll keep that dog under control. It is a wonderful tool to reduce shedding in your house so that you're not brushing it off the couches all the time or vacuuming it up and all that kind of thing. So the non-shedding, the Furminator is great. Nail clipping, we're running out of time here, I'm seeing, but on the nail clippers, really quickly on that one, we do the $5 nail trim in our store, and that is so easy, no appointments necessary. We just need your vaccination schedule on file. But the biggest thing with the nail clippers is having styptic powder available. Styptic powder is for if you hit the quick, you can use styptic powder, and it is a blood coagulant. And so you can stop the bleeding if you by chance hit it, and you're gonna hit it sooner or later. So having styptic powder is one of those things to have at your ready just in case. Know that it's good for other uses. If you've got some bleeding going on and you're trying to stop it quickly, styptic powder is a wonderful product to use in wounds and stuff like that, as directed on the label. But I've used it in those emergencies where I'm like, whoops, what did you get into? Was able to stop the bleeding fairly quickly and then clean and all that kind of stuff, the wound, to get our dog or cat back online. but it is essential for nail clipping, because if you do hit that quick, it's tough to get it to stop. And this stuff just, if used right, will stop it right here and now. The key to the styptic powder, if you are doing nail clippings and you do hit it, is you tap it into the nail. That's when it will stop it right on. So styptic powder is used for those nail clippers just in case. The type of nail clipper that I like are the ones with the blade on both sides. There's one called, and I don't know why, it's called a guillotine type nail clipper. I don't like that one because it only cuts from one side and it puts a little bit more pressure on the nail. I just noticed my dog yelped a lot more when I used it. The ones that is more like a scissors, that one works really good because it's cutting from both sides. So that's the nail trimmer that I would recommend. If this is all at all confusing to you, just come on in and we'll talk with you about it and show you the right ones. So that's maintaining your dog. We just hit some just basic maintenance issues for your dog, and I hope some of that helped. Finally, I just want to talk about dog food. And we got here, we always like to introduce new dog foods. The latest product that we've got on the shelf now is Acana. If you have not heard of this dog food, this stuff is crazy good. It does have a 5 out of 5 dog food advisor rating. And in fact, Dog Food Advisor, out of all the dog foods that they've reviewed, and they've pretty much reviewed all of them, this is on their top 10 as far as this is what I would recommend, feeding the dog kind of a thing. So that's a pretty big endorsement, that it's third-party endorsement, no bias kind of a thing. So what are they known for? They do have all of that organic aspects to them, free range aspects to them. But one of their biggest claims, it's all about the meat, which I think is what is out there in a lot of dog foods. And they've done it. I like how they've done it. They didn't overdo it, because it was about 5 to 7 years ago. People went crazy on meat on there, and they actually overdid it and actually had to back down. Acana has done it up to where the maximum benefit, but not pushing it over. Here, let's see. They have 38% protein. Holy cow, that has got to be one of the highest that's out there. When they were going too far, it was when they were getting into the mid-40s on protein, and they actually saw that it didn't work really well for most dogs. If you have a very active dog, then you're getting into even the higher proteins, but at 38%, you're not going to find many foods that go higher than that. Fat percent is 19. Again, a nice ratio between protein and fat there. And you need fat in a dog's diet. It's the last thing to break down to give them energy. So that's a lot of really good nutrients there. And then 35% carbs, which is kind of on the low side because of all of the energy they're going to get from those proteins and fats. So that's a good thing there too. That is Acana. You got to check this out if you haven't. We have it in the store now, so it's on our buy 10 get 1 free program, and like all of our dog food and cat food, and start using it and seeing the benefits. You're going to see healthier skin and coats with this product. You're also going to feed a lot less. This is going to be even, I always say you're going to feed half as much. If you go to the grocery mart or the marts, the grocery stores or whatever out there, those are all based on price. That's the way those are formulated and all that. They're trying to keep it cheap for you so that you pick their bag. When you go to a premium food, like what are in a pet specialty store like Petland in Iowa City, you're going to feed half as much of those foods as you will anything that's in the marts. This product, Acana, you're going to feed even less of it because it really shied away from the carbs, really loaded up on the proteins and fats, so you're going to feed less of it to maintain that weight of your dog. So that's Acana dog food. Check it out. So we hit Basset Hounds. Is that the right breed for you? It's maybe be on a little lazier, easier side, but it's bigger, and so you're going to have a little bit more maintenance. Then we hit maintenance needs, everything from shampoos to nail clipping to brushing, and we even hit the Furminator again. And then that Acana food. Is that the right food for you? So that wraps up the show, guys. Appreciate y'all listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, hate to put you in a bind like that. I didn't see that coming. So we're good to go now, though.
Awesome.
Good job. You're getting good at doing this show.
Yeah, the first time.
It's a little daunting on your first time.